Hi, I'm here to start our new series of all age slots today, and we're going to be looking at something called the Armour of God. So I'm just shutting the door so I can't hear it through from the other room as well. Okay, this is going to be the last time you see my face in this talk, though, because I'm about to put the phone down and introduce you to a friend of mine whose name is Maximus, and he's a Roman soldier. And as a Roman soldier, he needs to be ready for whatever happens in the day. So if he ends up in a battle, if he ends up stuck somewhere, he needs to be ready for whatever goes on. And I want you, when you see the picture of him, to tell your family, does he look ready at the moment? Let me just turn this around and I'll show you my friend Maximus. Here's my friend Maximus. Now, kids, could you tell your grown-ups, does he look ready for anything? No, you're right. At the moment, he does not look ready for anything. Look at him. He's skinny. He's scared. He's just wearing his blue pants. We'd better get him ready if he's going to go out and fight the world and survive whatever goes on. Now, this does seem a bit strange, but actually what Romans would have worn, simple clothes, looks a bit like a dress. We're going to start to dress him. Oh, at least his pants are covered up now, aren't they? He's starting to look a bit more ready for the world, a bit more like he could go. At least he won't get cold now. Well, at least some of him won't get cold now. But he's not looking very well protected. Oh, I know. To stop his tunic blowing around so much, let's give him a belt. Let's tie him into his belt. Here we go. Let's tie him in. And now at least he'll be able to go places without his tunic getting blown away. And this is quite a big belt, isn't it? It's not just a normal belt. It's got lots of leather and studs on it. That would help him, actually. If something hit him, that might protect just a little bit of him. I still don't think he's ready, though. I don't think he's ready to go out and face whatever goes on. Better give him something more. I know. I think if you were going to go and face whatever, it could be bears, it could be enemies, you might want some armor, wouldn't you? So let's give him this. Let's give him this breastplate here. That might protect him, do you think? Well, it's looking a bit better, isn't it? He's looking a bit more like he's ready to face the world and take on whatever goes on. Oh, I've got another problem I've spotted because he doesn't know what he might have to walk over today. Let's better give him something on his feet, hadn't we? We'll give him one of these. There we go, Maximus. And one of these. I can hear Jesse in the other room saying he needs more socks. Well, it might be very warm where Maximus says he doesn't need socks, but he does need to protect his feet because he could have to walk on anything today. He might have to walk miles and miles. Okay, he's starting to look a bit more ready for the world, isn't he? It's starting to look like he could take anything on. Oh, but what if he got attacked? What if something did come for him? This breastplate would protect his chest. That's really important. But what about his arms and his legs? I think we could give him a shield. Should we give him a shield to hold? Oh, look, now we could use that. And that could help him, couldn't it? I think that could be really useful. If he's got that shield, he could move it about, move it up and down. He could protect his legs and his arms, protect himself all over with that. He's starting to look more ready for whatever the world has for him today. Oh, I've spotted a problem. What if something hit him in the head? What would he do if something hit him in the head now? I think we'd better give him a helmet. There we go. Oh, he's starting to look like a real soldier, do you think? Tell your parents, is there anything missing? Does he look like a soldier who's ready for anything in the world now? Is there something missing? Can anyone spot something that's missing? Let's try this. Is this the thing that you just said to your parents? Whoops, I've knocked his shield off. Is this the thing that you've just said to your family and your parents? Is he missing his sword that he needs? Because sometimes if he's a soldier, there might be times he's going to need a sword. And if he's not got a sword, He is not ready for anything. Now, tell your parents, he did not look ready for anything at the start, did he? When he was just standing there shivering and skinny in his blue pants. Does he look ready for anything now? Does he look like he could deal with anything the day throws at him now? Tell your parents. Okay, I'm going to pop this over because I have something else to show you. He's just going to say bye to Maximus. He's just going to slide out the way for a moment. Bye, Maximus. Okay, I've got my Bible just over here. And actually, in the Bible, it tells us that as Christians, we should be ready for whatever the world throws at us. And actually, in Ephesians, it tells us that that's a bit like putting your armor on. That for God, we need to be ready for whatever happens, and that's like putting God's armor on. So I'm going to read you a little bit from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his great power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can fight against the devil's evil tricks. Our fight is not against people on earth, but against the rulers and authorities and the powers of this world's darkness, against the spiritual powers of evil in the heavenly world. That is why you need to put on God's full armor." So we have to wear a sort of armor, like Maximus did. "Then on the day of evil, you will be able to stand strong. And when you have finished the whole fight, you will still be standing. So stand strong, with the belt of truth tied around your waist, and the protection of right living on your chest." So it's a bit like Maximus. We've got a special belt, but our belt is truth. And we've got a special breastplate. Our breastplate is righteousness. On your feet, wear the good news of peace to help you stand strong. And also use the shield of faith with which you can stop all the burning arrows of the evil one. Accept God's salvation as your helmet, and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times with all kinds of prayers, asking for everything you need. Now, I was quite wordy, kids, but in the Bible, it's telling us that when we get ready with everything we need from God, that is like our friend Maximus getting all of his armor on. When he's got all of his armor on, he's ready for whatever happens that day. He's ready to do his best for the Romans, whatever happens. And if we get all of God's armor on, we can be ready to do our best for God, whatever happens. The last thing I've got to show you today is I've got a little bit of a challenge for you to do this week. It's not one that you're going to show me now, but this is a challenge that you can get started making now, ready to take on your parents during the week. I'd like you to use a bit of paper. Now, I did text parents this morning, asking them to get a piece of paper and a pencil and a pair of scissors ready. I'd like you to make a piece of paper that looks like mine's already cut out because I'm doing a bit of Blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier. But if you take a piece of paper, here are the pieces of heavenly armor that God asks us to put on. We've got a belt of truth. We've got a breastplate of righteousness. We've got shoes of good news, a shield of faith, a helmet of salvation, and a sword of the Spirit. I'll just leave that there for a moment in case anyone's copying it. I'll pause for a second. Here's my hands pausing. Okay, you've had a moment to take that in. So I would like you to make your piece of paper look like this. When you've made it, I'd like you to snip so they're all separate cards. You can be doing this now, or you can save this and do it after the service if you like. I don't mind which. It's a memory game to challenge anyone in your house later on. When you've made it, on the back of each one, I'd like you to draw a little picture. To remind you, now this one says belt of truth, so I've drawn a belt. You might like to colour yours in. This one says breastplate of righteousness, so I've drawn a Roman style breastplate. This one says shoes of good news, so I've drawn a Roman soldier's sandal. This one says shield of faith, so I've drawn a shield, a Roman shield. And this one says helmet of salvation, so I've drawn a helmet. And finally, this one says sword of the Spirit, so I've drawn a sword. Now, we're nearly ready to play our game. On yours, when you make it, it should have on one side the name of the piece of God's armor that we should be wearing, and on the other side, it should have a picture to remind you. Now, the challenge, we have to try and remember what all of these mean. So I'm going to play this game against myself because I'm the only one in the room. Let me have a look. I think I know this one. I think this is I think this one is shoes of good news. Let's see if I'm right. Turn it over and check. Yes, I am. It is the shoes of good news. Now let's have another go. I'm pretty sure this one is called the belt of truth. Yes, I'm right. Turn to your parents. Looking at mine, do you know any others? I'll give you a few seconds to shout out any of the other ones that you know. If you know this one, tell your parents what it is. Or this one's a good one if you know it. Okay, if you shout them out, I'll show you the answers. That was the breastplate of righteousness. That one is the shield of faith. The helmet of salvation. The sword of the Spirit. I would like you, either now or after the service, to make these cards up and to play this game against your family. See if next week you can remember all of these pieces of God armor that we're being asked to put on. Thank you for listening, and let's see Maximus one time to say bye to you. Say bye to Maximus, everyone. That's the end of our all-age slot for the day. Bye.